Well, I'll state the obvious right now. Obviously, I'm not AJ, just like I wasn't Ashley the last time I talked to you guys like this. And I'll explain why. AJ had something he had to do yesterday that involved him standing up a long time. That being said, he actually called me last night and told me that he was extremely exhausted and he was going to be unable to do the review video for you guys. So he apologizes, and that's basically the only explanation I have. But we are making it up to you, not a problem at all. Obviously, it is Sunday, it is 31 days till vacation time and heading home yet again, and it's also the date of SummerSlam. That's the reason why you're doing NXT and Smackdown today and not Monday, because Monday's video will be your SummerSlam recap, which I'll shoot tonight after the pay-per-view ends. Now, that being said, there will be another edition of AJ's Movie Reviews this week, and the video that was supposed to come out today is actually going to be coming out on Wednesday. Actually, as soon as I get off work, we're going to go to B-Dubs on Tuesday night, and then we're going to film on location at Buffalo Wild Wings, just like we did before, and we're going to be giving you reviews of The Giver and Boyhood and 4 other films as well. So 6 movies on the AJ's Movie Reviews, just like normal. And that's going to be coming on Wednesday. Why not Tuesday? Because I don't think I can get it up in time, given the fact that I've had so many problems uploading lately, but hopefully they can be rectified soon. I'm really hoping that happens. Now, that means that you're going to get 2 editions of AJ's Movie Reviews, and that's going to be this week. So the normal edition of AJ's Movie Reviews will be on Friday, and we're going to be talking about the new films that are going to be coming out this week, When the Game Stands Tall and If I Stay, as well as Sin City. So, that A Dame to Kill For. So, really excited for those. Actually, not really. It's always fun to do videos, though. And very soon, we are going to be starting our Academy Awards predictions. The Big 8 categories we did last year, and you guys really enjoyed those. That's going to be continuing again this year here on Pop. And also today I have a bonus video for you guys. It was supposed to be yesterday, but because of what happened with the schedule conflict and not doing a Versus today and Versus went up yesterday, which hopefully you guys out there enjoyed the Versus, an awesome battle between Requiem for a Dream and Trainspotting. And I know a lot of you out there have watched it, so we appreciate that completely. But I will state that because there's no Versus today, I'm doing 2 videos to make up for it. And as soon as I get done with this video and I get it uploaded to the channel, I'm going to be shooting you guys out another video, and we're going to be talking about the final announcements of Maze and Scare Zones coming to Halloween Horror Nights in Hollywood. So that's going to be coming up in a little bit, as a matter of fact. It should be up in a couple of hours. That's what I'm looking at right now. Depends on how long the video is. But because it is SummerSlam Sunday, we're going to be talking NXT and Smackdown, and we're going to do that early. And this isn't a change that's going to be there forever. NXT and Smackdown's day will continue to be Monday. But because there's a pay-per-view, I had to do it either yesterday, which I already had 2 videos anyway, Ashley's video and the new Versus, and I wanted to do it today because I didn't want to do it after the fact because there's no point. What's the point in doing a SmackDown recap after the pay-per-view when the SmackDown was trying to build up the pay-per-view? I could have been recapping NXT, which has no bearing whatsoever on SummerSlam, but that's another story altogether. Now, that being said, let's talk NXT, shall we? Now, we are starting the NXT #1 contendership tournament to determine who is going to be the next victim, the next opponents, for the unstoppable, undefeatable Connor and Victor, The Ascension, your NXT Tag Team Champions for almost a year now, actually. And we started off the first match with one of my new favorite tag teams, the Artiste, Aiden English, and Simon Gotch. And no, he's not Justin Long in wrestling gear. Oh no, but he could probably be. And they are facing off against a very formidable team of Bull Dempsey and my least favorite member of the NXT roster, Mojo Rawley. The Chad Cross of NXT. And there is probably no one watching these videos is going to get that reference, but I like to throw that in there in case someone comes across it. They can laugh at that little joke that I threw in for any fans of West Virginia independent wrestling from the last 10 years. Now, let's talk about this match, shall we? This match was short, this match was to the point, and this match was basically about the fact that Mojo and Bull shouldn't be teaming. And it came down to the end, and Bull drops 2 elbows on Simon Gotch, and Gotch tries to fight himself out of the corner, and he hits a shoulder, and Mojo tags himself in. So he ends up getting hit when he goes shoulder first in the ring post. He scoots out of the way, and he goes shoulder first in the ring post, tag in, and the Finley roll from Gotch, and the Swanton off the top from Aiden English, and that's the end. So after the match is over, they go to RU, and Bull lays out Mojo with a clothesline and actually says, gets the crowd to start chanting, "Thank you, Bull," giving the fact that everyone in Full Sail are just as fed up with Mojo Rawley as Suro and Disney is. So the Vaudevillains win, as they should, because they're a real tag team, and they're beating a much not established tag team of Bull and Mojo, and that would lead to Mojo and Bull feuding, and thus hopefully Mojo being future endeavored after this feud is over. That's in a perfect world, folks. But the thing about it is, I'm not really adamant about people losing their jobs, so maybe after this they could repackage Mojo Rawley, do something different with him, because what's going on right now is just not working. Or it could be the CJ Parker situation, that he'd be better off as a heel and just turn Mojo heel. The problem is you have to turn Bull face. Crowd's kind of cheering for him, but only because he attacked Mojo. So yeah, there's a lot of different directions you can go with this. But either way, fact remains that they will move on in the tournament and face off against Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy, and that's going to be in the near future. It's in the quarterfinals, because obviously I don't know much about tournaments, like how it's quarter, semi, and finals. That's pretty much how it works. And the only reason I know this is because I've done a lot of King of the Ring tournaments, and I even, a long time ago, put together my own 64 wrestler Final Four tournament and 64 tag team Final Four tournaments. When I got bored in high school, I was doing something. I was like, you know what, there's nothing else to do. I'm bored, so I'm going to put together a tournament. And I just used coins to figure out who won. Oh, by the way, Owen Hart and Vader won. And that's an awesome team that never happened. Now, could have, though. Because they both were managed by Jim Cornette at one point, but Owen was with the Bulldog and Vader was working as the singles, so it never happened. But it could have happened, and it would have been awesome if it did. Now, don't know exactly why I mentioned that. After the short arm clothesline, Mojo is laid out with a bulldozer, and like I said, the crowd's loving it because Mojo got trashed, and that's awesome because Mojo sucks. Now, Sasha Banks and Bayley are talking in the back, and basically Bayley is told, you need to go back to La La Land and your inflatable friends, you know, the arm-waving, inflatable, flailing tube men. And yeah, I totally messed that one up. Says, tonight you're not getting a hug, that's what Bayley said. And Sasha basically says if she's next in line, she's going to be the next NXT Women's Champion, and she'll go through whomever she has to in order to get her hands on her former BFF partner and former best friend, Charlotte. And Bayley needs to be taken seriously, and that's pretty much the end of this. Sasha says she'll find out tonight what she's really made of. So we get our next match. It is the aforementioned #1 contender to Charlotte's NXT Women's Championship match. It is the boss, Sasha Banks, taking on Bayley, still sporting the Deb from Napoleon Dynamite ponytail. So we pick it up midway through the match, and Sasha's got a modified bow and arrow locked on Bayley. Bayley kicks her right in the face and knocks her off, and then she goes into her Sheamus offense, of all things. And I don't know why she decided she wanted to use Sheamus's setup moves. Sheamus's series, but that's what we're going to call it. We're going to call it the Sheamus series from now on. So you heard it first here on Pop. Axe handle, and of course, charges in. Oh, wait a minute. We are way off on this one. I am getting ahead of myself. So when she kicks her off, I read ahead. I apologize. Sometimes it happens when you're trying to read your notes, especially when they look like this. So yeah, it's pretty bad. But let me talk about that. So she hits an axe handle to the spine, does Sasha, and she rams her face first in the mat and just kind of wish-washes her face across the canvas. So she hits a snap suplex, gets the 2 off of that, and a straight jacket version of a camel clutch is applied on Bayley, trying to choke her out with her own arms. The straitjacket is back again, and she's bending her backwards, trying to put more pressure on the neck and the lower back to try to get a submission. But of course, Bayley counters with a quick flip off, and she hits the Sheamus series there. Axe handle, and instead of the high running knee, she hits the charging shoulder block in the corner, and goes for the charging elbow in the corner, goes for the charge elbow again, gets caught, and finds nothing but the turnbuckle, and Sasha with the shotgun knees in the corner, and instead of capitalizing, apparently she gets caught by Bayley with an exploding clothesline out of the corner with authority. So she goes for the belly to Bayley, and she gets slapped for good measure, which is a counter, I guess, in this situation. So she boots her in the corner, and she starts catching her with shots after shots after shots, and Bayley gets one forearm and gets caught with a knee to the midsection. A kick to Bayley knocks her all the way to the floor. So, Bayley's out. Sasha goes out of the ring, picks her up, tosses her back in. Bayley catches her with a small package, 1-2, and a kick out. A blatant slap by Bayley, and the belly to Bayley is countered, and a backstabber into the crossface, and smartly, there's a bridge back from Bayley. She bridges back, shoulders on the canvas while she's still in the crossface, 1, 2, 3, and Bayley is the new #1 contender to Charlotte's NXT Women's Championship. After the match is over, Charlotte herself comes out, looks at Bayley knowing she's her next challenger. They go to shake hands, and they actually do so. And we go to see that there is apparently no heels in this division with the exception of Sasha Banks now. Excuse me. Now, or maybe Charlotte's trying to lure Bayley into a false sense of security. Here's what I'm thinking is coming out of this. Now, obviously, the end game here is Bayley versus Charlotte at the next NXT WWE Network special. And it's actually going to be taped next month. Now, the thing about this is I'm thinking that what this is going to do is something that WWE has been talking about, closed-door meetings, that we've been hearing a lot of rumors, that Charlotte is getting brought up to the main roster very soon. And I'd have no issues if that happens. If Charlotte is brought up to the main roster, I do think she goes after AJ, and I know that's probably the right direction to go, and obviously she's going to face off against Paige as well, and she'll get another rematch against Natty, because they had such an awesome match at NXT TakeOver. Now, here's the thing. What I'm thinking this means is the fact that I think Bayley's going to win the championship at the event. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Bayley's your next champion. And I think they're going to start to build the division around Bayley as your babyface and Sasha Banks as your heel. And you have someone like Alexa Bliss and Becky Lynch, they're there, that when Sasha takes the championship back, she can have 3 challengers ready to go. And don't forget, there's Emma there somewhere, because obviously WWE doesn't want to use her and don't have a storyline for her right now. So, might as well bring her back to NXT and have her do some stuff with the championship as well. Either way, I'm thinking it's a good possibility Bayley can defeat Charlotte and send her out of the company. It won't be like a loser leaves town match, not what they did with Bo Dallas, but something where basically Bayley wins and Charlotte maybe has one more rematch, can't get the job done somehow. And the problem with that is you really need to do something with Charlotte and Sasha Banks before Charlotte leaves NXT and goes back to the main roster. But you can't really do anything right now because you have Charlotte kind of teetering on the brink between babyface and heel. She's obviously been a hardcore heel, and I'm guessing that she will remain one, but the thing about it is she shook hands with Bayley without trying to cheap shot her or anything like that. So it's really interesting to see that. And I just realized the lighting was horrible in here, so I'm going to take care of that. It is dark in here, and I'm going to take care of that as well. Aha! Victory is mine. So yeah, sometimes you forget to change the lighting situation, and I apologize for that. So sorry about that. You could talk amongst yourselves while I was doing that. Anyway, good match, good back and forth match between the two, and enjoyable. So we get our next match in the NXT #1 Contendership Tag Team Title Tournament, and that is between the team of Kalisto and Sin Cara, who have really not been sold on the crowd necessarily yet, versus the new tag team of Wesley Blake and Buddy Murphy, and I like to call them the New Age Techno Team 2000. So yeah, for those of you that are longtime WWE fans, you know what I'm talking about. Eric Watts, Chad Fortune, Techno Team 2000, Travis and Troy. Yeah, they dressed a lot alike, like they were wearing, like, futuristic costumes, basically. Futuristic gear is basically what they were wearing, and it was, like, red and silver, and it looked like that they were trying to do a techno-type situation. They came out to dubstep, so anything's possible. So I'm interested to see where they go with this. And, of course, there's one tag team that's kind of, absent from this. And, actually, we'll hear from them in a minute. So, let's talk about this match, shall we? So, there's a really awesome spot when Sin Cara goes for a wheelbarrow with his partner. He's using Kalisto in a wheelbarrow. Usually like a wheelbarrow facebuster, a wheelbarrow suplex, or an ocean cyclone suplex, depending on how you call your match. And Kalisto doesn't land with a splash. He flips forward and lands with a senton on Buddy Murphy. And then Sin Cara makes the cover because he's the legal man. 1-2, and Murphy kicks out, tags into Kalisto. And what the first thing that Murphy does, he straight right hand punches Kalisto right in the face. So he goes down like he was in a championship title fight. So he gets shoved off into the corner. He charges in, he eats the boot, and of course, Blake gets elbowed in the side of the head to knock him off the apron momentarily. So Murphy picks him up and tries to toss him off, and hot tag into Sin Cara, tag into Wesley Blake. They both come in, and the springboard and the flying body press on both Murphy and Blake by Sin Cara. The springboard 180 headbutt does connect on Murphy, ducks Murphy's clothesline when he gets back to a vertical base, hits a satellite head scissors takeover on Blake, and then whip in reverse, handspring back elbow, 1-2, and a kick out tag into Kalisto. He's now legal. And Sin Cara with a roll up turned into basically a sledge-o-matic is what it was, like a one-armed power bomb, one-armed side power bomb with the added springboard missile drop kick by Kalisto to that, and they connect with their nice little finisher. And Blake gets knocked out of the ring, and the Harakiri finishes off Murphy, and that's the end. So, Sin Cara and Kalisto are going to be facing off against the team of Sami Zayn and Adam Rose in the next round. So it'll be interesting to see where we go with that. It was okay for what it was. I mean, Sin Cara is fine. I mean, I think the time has now come. You might as well just get rid of the Sin Cara gimmick. I mean, the Scooby-Doo movie is probably the only reason they really needed the Sin Cara gimmick still. Let Unico be himself. Or Unikara, as I like to call him back in the day. But yeah, the Kalisto team, it's fine. It's okay. I mean, it's nothing to write home about, but it's not terrible. I guess it's kind of making up for the old team that Kalisto had with El Cal when when Ricardo was working for the company. So yeah, it's interesting to see where we go with this. Right team went over. No reason for the new team to win. They have matching gear, I'll give them that, but that's pretty much all they had in this match. Not much to it at all. So, like I said, there's one tag team that's auspicious by their absence, and that is the Legionnaires. So we get Marcus Louis and Sylvester Lafort in the back, and they're basically saying that this entire tournament is an absolute sham without their involvement, and that all Big Cass and Enzo Amore like to do is call other people soft, and they say they're a little come see, come saw, which made an interesting statement, a derogatory statement that way. And, yeah, they basically said they should be in this match, and they should be in the aforementioned tournament. So, we'll obviously continue the feud with Enzo and Big Cass against the Legionnaires, and that's going to be starting up again very soon. Obviously, it's been put on the back burner for a while, but it's going to be back now that Marcus Louis is back from injury, so that's going to continue. So, we've been talking about it for a long time. Obviously, Tyler Breeze won a tremendous three-way in order to become the #1 contender to Adrian Neville's NXT Championship. And then he broke his finger, so he said he had a modeling accident. And he basically just cut promos and did some commentary. Basically cost Neville some losses in non-title matches. It made him look like a fool. But now the match has finally happened, and it's your main event tonight. It is the man that gravity forgot, your NXT champion, Adrian Neville, defending against Prince Pretty himself, Tyler Breeze. This match was awesome in every single way possible, and easily the best match on the NXT show. And It's easily one of the best matches of this video, without any doubt. The only thing that even comes close is Cesaro and Ambrose, but I'll talk about that when we get to SmackDown in a few minutes. So we pick it up midway through the match right after the commercial break, and Neville with the European uppercut whips him in. He hits the European uppercut Cesaro style in the corner, and he catches Breeze with a front drop kick to the side of the head, and he hits the standing shooting star press. 1-2, Tyler Breeze kicks out. So he backdrops Neville to the ring apron, he lands on it, and he grabs Breeze and neck snap across the top rope, springboard, and Breeze with the Pillman counter, which if you don't remember what I'm talking about, since this hasn't happened very often, usually happens a lot in Randy Orton matches, but it is an old Brian Pillman technique when someone would leap off the top rope onto him, and Pillman would counter with a drop kick. That's exactly what a Pillman counter is, and that's exactly what Tyler Breeze did. He did a stack-up pin 1-2, and the champion kicks out. So he hits a forearm, and Breeze pounds away at the back of the head. He locks in a side headlock, and he basically bulldogs Neville into the middle turnbuckle. Looked awesome, by the way. Like it always does, every single time it happens. And when he's trying to get back to his feet, Neville catches him with a desperation super kick and falls on him, almost gets the 3 right there, but somehow Breeze still ended up kicking out. So, we continue from there. He goes up top, he gets countered, and Breeze climbs up and goes for the superplex. It gets blocked. Neville blocks it again. A forearm, a headbutt, and then another headbutt, and then he catches him and a sunset flip powerbomb on Tyler Breeze, 1-2, and Breeze kicks out. So Neville's got to wonder what he has to do to put Breeze away. So what does he do? He goes up top again, and he's going for the red arrow. Breeze smartly has seen this match before, and he rolls to the other side of the ring to stop any momentum. Smart move there from Breeze. So he charges in, and Breeze gets the boots up in the face. He nails a swinging DDT off the middle turnbuckle, and 1-2, Neville kicks out this time. So a big overhand right from Breeze drops Neville like a sack of potatoes, and then he gets charged in. He gets caught. He tries to elbow out of it, and standing switch by Breeze, they elbow out, and then club to the back to try to finish him off. Goes for a release German suplex. Neville lands on his feet, charges in, and he misses, goes off the ropes, and still eats the German suplex from Neville. 1-2, Breeze kicks out. So they trade blows, rights and forearms, 2 big forearms, European uppercut by the NXT champion, and Breeze gets knocked to the floor. So Breeze, of course, is struggling to get up to his feet. Once he gets up to his feet, he gets mowed over by a vicious tope from Adrian Neville. So Tyson Kidd takes this opportunity to leave the broadcast booth that he was at when this match started, and he walks to the ringside area. He's actually standing behind the barricade at ringside, just watching the match. So basically Neville spots this. And what does he do? He super kicks Tyson Kidd, so he knocks him down. Eats a knee from Breeze, gets tossed in, and Breeze tries to finish him off. He gets nailed with a high kick. And we know what the high kick means. It goes up top, and he's going for the red arrow, but of course, Tyson Kidd pulls the leg, he lands on the buckle, he lands in the canvas, and of course the referee calls for the bells. Disqualification win for the NXT champion. So what happened here? Basically, Breeze has just gotten screwed by Tyson Kidd out of winning the NXT championship, or so he thinks. So basically what happens is there's mounted punches from Tyson Kidd working away on Neville. Of course, this feud is far from over. So Tyler Breeze comes and shoves him away, and he's like, you know what? You ruined my championship opportunity. I had this thing won, even though, of course, Breeze was about ready to be finished off by the Red Arrow at this point. But Breeze still had a point, so he slugs Tyson Kidd, and they start brawling. And then Tyson Kidd's finally up top, and he's starting to punch away. And then Neville pulls him off, and then all 3 men are fighting. And then all of a sudden, Breeze and Kidd decide, you know what? Screw it. Let's team up. And they start beating the tar out of Neville. Here comes Sami Zayn from the back, makes the save for his friend, and that's how we go home. The last image you see at the end of this NXT is Sami Zayn holding the NXT Championship, about ready to hand it back to Adrian Neville, and both Tyler Breeze and Tyson Kidd are on the ramp, basically watching this all go down. So yes, gave a nice little tease for when Sami Zayn finally goes after the NXT Championship and finally wins the NXT Championship. This show was good for what it was. I don't like Mojo Rawley at all. For any of you that have ever watched any of these videos, you know I don't like Mojo Rawley. And I do like the fact that Bull laid him out and the fans finally fed up with it. They just like, thank you Bull, when he laid him out with a bulldozer. So Mojo and Bull will feud, and of course that'll probably lead to eventually Mojo turning heel somewhere down the line, because they tried to make him a babyface. They tried to stuff him down all of our throats, and it just didn't take at all. It's like bad medicine, didn't take. So that's probably going to happen. The Vaudevillains, they move on. They're going to face off with Enzo and Cass. They'll beat them, and then it's up in the air to me who I think they'll face in the finals, because I think that it probably will be Sin Cara and Kalisto, because Adam Rose and Sami Zayn will probably get screwed over by potentially Tyson Kidd and Tyler Breeze for their interference involved when Tyson Kidd tried to screw over Tyler Breeze from winning the NXT Championship, and he did that. So now when he got attacked, he's going to want revenge, apparently. So maybe that'll happen somewhere down the line. It's possible. Obviously, they want to get revenge on Sami Zayn for making the save. So that's probably why him and Adam Rose are going to lose to Kalisto and Sin Cara. The Vaudevillains will win, and then we'll get our Vaudevillains Ascension match for the NXT Championships when Gotch and English take the championships. And I think that's what's going to happen. And then you'll see the Ascension on the main roster. Probably by the Survivor Series, if I had to guess. That's purely speculation, though. So Bayley is now our #1 contender. I think she'll beat Charlotte, and I think that's going to be the right direction to go. And Charlotte can go up to the main roster. But the problem with that is you have to have Charlotte and Sasha Banks have a match or two, so that's got to happen in the meantime. So I think that needs to happen at some point. The Buddy Murphy-Wesley Blake tag team is okay. I like to see more from them after this tournament is over, so we can see what they're actually made of when they actually get some chances to do something in a match. It seemed like almost a one-sided match, except for that straight right hand during the middle of the match from Murphy. I think that was about the only thing they really got in that match. Main event was phenomenal, and obviously, we are building towards a 4-way for the NXT Championship, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be, without reading spoilers, not talking about spoilers, based upon my speculation upon reading absolutely nothing, I'm thinking we're going to see Neville defend the championship against Tyson Kidd, Tyler Breeze, and Sami Zayn at the next NXT WWE Network special that's going to be taped next month. Actually, almost a month from today. I think it might be the week before, but still. So yeah, it was a good edition of NXT, and of course we still have next week, which is coming up next week, absolutely. We're going to be having our finals for the tournament, and that's going to be coming down the line, our semifinals coming down the line, and then our finals afterwards, so that's going to be interesting to see where we go with there, and like I say, it's going to be probably the Vaudevillains against Sin Cara and Kalisto in the finals, potentially. I think that might be the case, and the only reason that Adam Rose and Sami Zayn don't get into the finals is because Tyson Kidd and Tyler Breeze make sure that doesn't happen, so that's what we've got. And I'm sure they'll have a tag team match again down the line to solidify the fact that they're all feuding over that NXT Championship. And when the dust completely settles, I think the end game here is Sami Zayn as the NXT Champion. And I think that's the right direction to go. I think ever since the feud with Cesaro, I think this has been grooming Sami Zayn for greatness. And unless he gets pulled and brought to the main roster before then, and a lot of people were rumored talking about him joining the Wyatt family, I would state that this is probably going to be Sami Zayn's championship to win. Obviously, the fans like Neville. Neville's great in the ring, but the fans haven't really gravitated around him as much as the company probably would like them to. So because of that fact, they know that Sami Zayn is a major fan favorite, especially with Full Sail, and that's where the title change would take place. So yes, that's what I'm thinking is going to happen. And then what I would do in this situation, if you give Sami Zayn the championship, give him the NXT championship, you bring Cesaro back, and you do one more match between the two. Do some if it was me booking, I would do a 60-minute Iron Man match. But at NXT, that's probably unheard of because that's an entire broadcast. But then again, you could build the entire broadcast around that. But do some sort of maybe a 30-minute Iron Man match, something like that. Do a final battle with Zayn being the one with the championship and Cesaro being the one with something to prove. That is something I would definitely do if I was in charge of NXT booking. So, NXT's out of the way. Let's talk SmackDown, and then I'm going to give you guys my SummerSlam predictions, which I'm still not completely sure about. So, of course, you guys know that I don't watch this on my DVR because right now my DVR is kind of not working. And I don't watch it live because Friday night I'm usually trying to get these videos uploaded. But I do watch it, and of course I watch it where the first segment is not the opening of the show, it is the first match on the show. So I'm going to go right into that, and what a match it was. A tremendous, stiff match between Cesaro and Dean Ambrose, and I'm going to talk about that right now. So we pick it up right before commercial. Ambrose goes shoulder first in the ring post, and of course he's got the shoulder taped up still. He is the modern day Brian Pillman, as everyone knows. A lot of Pillman references on this, as there should be. So that's the reason I don't call it a crossbody, I call it a flying body press, so there you go. So he goes shoulder first in the post. Cesaro's on the floor, and what does he do? He pulls him out from through the ropes, and he suplexes him from the ropes to the ground. And that's how we go to commercial. Now, of course, when we come back to live action, the Swiss Sleeper is applied, and, of course, elbows out by Ambrose, and he gets tossed into the corner. He hits the charging Swiss uppercut in the corner, and he charges in, and, of course, backdrops Cesaro over the top rope to the floor. So, he nails the tope, he tosses Cesaro in, goes up top, gets caught, he climbs up for the superplex, and it gets blocked, and what does Ambrose do? He bites the nose of Cesaro, and, of course, that allows Cesaro to get knocked off, and he goes to charge in, and he eats the boot from Ambrose, who's on the middle turnbuckle now sitting on top of it, goes for the tornado DDT, and he connects 1-2, Cesaro kicks out. So he goes for a double underhook. It gets countered into a Cesaro short arm clothesline, which Ambrose ducks, comes off the ropes, Cesaro boots him in the chest, he goes back, goes for the jawbreaker lariat, but of course Cesaro's seen this match before, he actually ducks it, and he clotheslines Ambrose for good measure, 1-2, and a kick out. So he charges in, Ambrose gets the elbow up, he goes for the tornado DDT again, and of course he gets tossed off by Cesaro this time, pop up, Swiss Death, 1-2, and Ambrose kicks out. So Cesaro goes to pick him up, he gets countered into an inside cradle, 1-2, and a kick out. So he ducks the clothesline, and Cesaro picks him up and gives him a burning hammer. Yes, a burning hammer on WWE television. Awesome. No head drop, but still a burning hammer nonetheless. So they trade slaps, not punches. They slap each other, and of course, Cesaro gets the upper hand and hits the boot again, and of course, this time when he ricochets back, Ambrose does connect with a jawbreaker lariat, 1-2, and a kick out. He goes for Dirty Deeds, which Michael Cole calls a lunatic fringe for some reason, 3 times, so obviously he's not completely paying attention, and it shoves him off. They reverse back and forth, reverse standing switch, back elbow, reverse standing switch, back elbow, and on the 3rd time it gets reversed, Dirty Deeds connects on Cesaro, 1-2-3, and Ambrose wins. What a tremendous, very tight match between these two. Seth Rollins comes out on the top of the ramp, and of course he's not going anywhere near the ring. He says, this Sunday we finally will go one-on-one in a match of your choosing. The superstars will surround the ring, and they'll prevent us from escaping. And of course, he will prove to the entire universe and to Ambrose himself that he is the true future of this company, and he is simply better than him. You were never my friend or my brother, and I never gave a damn about you in the first place. Alright. So that's the end of that. Really awesome match between these two. And when they let Cesaro work, like the match against Swagger last week on SmackDown, and the match against Ambrose this week on SmackDown, it actually works really well. And I'm telling you right now, if they really gave the ball to Cesaro and let him run with it, I know a lot of people are saying that this was going to be the championship time for Cesaro to shine. They were going to strap the rocket to him, and then they were going to let him be the top babyface in the company by the time the year was over. Well, then they decided they want to start pushing Roman Reigns. So that pretty much got put down, at least for the time being. But it makes perfect sense. What you need to do is you need to, first off, they're doing a kickoff match, which finally got announced earlier today, and it's going to be Cesaro and Rob Van Dam. I think Cesaro needs to mow through Van Dam, and then this is going to be the start of a reboot for him. Not necessarily a reboot of the character, a reboot of a renewed push for Cesaro. I think Cesaro needs to look dominant. I think Cesaro needs to start getting victories decisively. And I think Cesaro needs to start being pushed again. Why? Because eventually they're going to have to build to a match with him and his former friend, Paul Heyman, and his client, Brock Lesnar. And that's exactly what I think they're going to do. And Cesaro and Lesnar is going to be an awesome match. It'll be a great wrestling match. It'll be stiff as all get out. And it'll be something everybody wants to see. And that'll lead to Cesaro's ultimate babyface turn somewhere down the line. Maybe Cesaro saves John Cena at some point. Who knows? But not now. Not now, no. Maybe, I don't know, if you've got SummerSlam, can't do anything with that because, like I said, the match is already done. Or will already be done. And then you go with Night of Champions, but I don't think you really do it there either. And then you got Hell in a Cell, which comes up in October. You do it there, or you can wait till Survivor Series and do it there. Either way, before the year is over, I think Cesaro goes babyface, and I think they set him on a collision course with Brock Lesnar, whether he is the champion or not. What do I mean by that? I'll talk about that later. So, we get our first segment, and it is Miz TV. Miz, still rocking the Johnny Cage look. Looking more, a different version of Johnny Cage. Like Johnny Cage from the Mortal Kombat movie instead of the video game. That's a better way to put it. And Roman Reigns is the guest on Miz TV because The Miz feels generous. He feels like he needs to give back to the young superstars. He needs to become a mentor. So he brings out Roman Reigns. Of course, Roman Reigns comes out in the same Shield getup he's always had. And apparently he's getting new gear, but apparently they're still sticking with the vest. So, okay. From a female perspective, which obviously I don't have, if you look at the female fans in the crowd, they really want to cheer Roman Reigns. I'm sure they're going to be like losing their minds tonight with the match against Randy Orton. There's two guys that the women like to cheer for their looks. But the thing about it is you want to capitalize on that with the female demographic and give Roman Reigns gear where he's not wearing his vest, where you can see his physique. I think it would work really well to put him over to the female fans in the crowd even more so. Now, granted, it could lead to like Beatles-style pass-outs in the crowds and everything, and might need to get a mop. But the thing about it is, when it comes down to it, yeah, I think it makes sense that you take away the vest because the Shield is over, so why is he still using the version of the Shield's music, and why is he still using the vest, still looking like a member of the Shield, unless they were going to someday go back to it again? I think you change his gear completely, and I don't think you just tweak his vest. Like, you took Cena's jorts away, but you still gave him like the same like khaki shorts that I wear. So yeah, so there's always that. But anyway, let's talk Roman Reigns, shall we? So The Miz brings him out, and he's trying to interview Roman Reigns, and Roman, of course, is not getting a word in edgewise. So The Miz basically finally gets punched in the face. That's the end of that. So Miz, of course, is clutching the moneymaker. He bombs out to the back. Roman Reigns gets on the mic and, oh God, that's never a good sign. He basically says that he just put The Miz down, and he says Randy Orton is the Viper, and that's for a very good reason. He does respect what Randy Orton has done, winning championship after championship, but that would mean that he's going to have to be respected once he defeats him at SummerSlam. That's the end of that. It's okay. I'm still not completely sold on Roman Reigns, and I'll tell you that right now. I'm just not sold on Roman Reigns. He's not the guy. I don't care how much they want to thrust him down our throats. He is not the guy. He's going to be the guy, but he's not the guy. Not yet. He needs to be built up credibility-wise, and matches against Randy Orton and Kane are not going to do it. They need to do something with Roman Reigns. Big something with Roman Reigns, and then they need to like go further with that. I don't know exactly what it would be at this point, and there's a lot of ways you could go with that, but there's no one that you really could put Roman Reigns against that's really going to give him much credibility. We'll go with that. So him beating Randy Orton and tonight, it's just kind of there. So, of course, Kane sees what happened, and he talks to The Miz, and The Miz is saying, you know what, he should be banned from Miz TV for life for trying to damage the moneymaker, and he basically thinks, yeah, you know what, Miz, you're right, and you know what, you want a chance to beat some respect into him? How about you face off against him tonight? So we get our main event announced of Roman Reigns and The Miz. Yay, I'm ecstatic for this one. For our next match, and of course, we play up to the fact that if you did not watch the WWE Network after Raw went off the air Monday night, you did not see that Slater Gator had a nice old tug of war over a very tiny cake for Hulk Hogan, and of course, they ended up putting it in each other's face. So yeah, that's why they're set up there, and Titus O'Neil's in action against Dolph Ziggler, because of course, Slater beat Dolph Ziggler, and that's what we're building towards. Okay. So Titus does 2 backbreakers, and he tosses Dolph aside, gets cover 1-2 and a kick out, whips him in, charges in with the avalanche, and he clubs away on Dolph, and he charges in. Dolph gets the boots up, and Titus ducks a clothesline and goes for the clothesline. Titus gets ducked under and hooking clothesline from Dolph. Standing dropkick, charging splash, reverse neckbreaker, countered, shoves him off, big boot on Dolph, 1-2, and Titus almost gets the 3 right there, but Dolph manages to kick out. So he goes for his fall-away slam without the bump, and of course, Dolph lands on his feet. He misses the charge, does Titus, zigzag, 1-2-3, match over. After the match is over, Heath Slater and Titus O'Neil argue. Okay. So we got our next match. It is Mark Henry against Luke Harper. So yeah, this match was short, but effective. Harper hits the big boot, gets a 2 on Henry, and European uppercut only gets a 1. So a chinlock is applied. Henry elbows his way out. Clothesline, goes for the world's strongest slam, and of course gets the big boot from Eric Rowan. Big Show hits the ring, and disqualification is given out. Come back from commercial break, and we're in the middle of a tag team match. So we don't have Teddy Long anymore. Kane came out and made the match a tag team match. So we have Harper and Rowan against Big Show and Mark Henry. And we pick it up. Harper tags himself in. Whips Rowan in with the avalanche, and then Harper with a super kick, 1-2, and a kick out. So a chinlock and a backdrop suplex out of it, which is your counter there. Tagging to Rowan. Big Show tags in Mark Henry, clothesline, avalanche, whip in, charges in with an avalanche in the opposite corner, charges in, clothesline, gets caught, world's strongest slam, and Show basically shoulder tackles Luke Harper, and Show hits the KO punch. While the world's strongest slam is held up, he nails it, 1-2-3, and that's the end. So this world's strongest team that they're trying to push is the winners of this match. So Harper and Rowan are an afterthought in this. But the only thing I can look at this is the fact that Harper and Rowan now have a team just as big as them, if not bigger. So this actually does work out in the long run. But the days of we're thinking that Harper and Rowan will take the tag team titles, unfortunately, they might be passing us by. I do want the Usos to drop the titles, though. It's not going to happen tonight, because they're not even working on the show tonight. I think it happens... there's going to be a tag team title match of some sort that happens on Raw Monday night. That's what I'm guessing. That's just speculation. So, of course, Eva Marie beat AJ last week, and she gets a rematch this week. And, of course, AJ gets a spinning back kick. Actually, no, spinning heel kick in this case. So Paige comes out, and she's skipping around. AJ attacks Paige on the floor and sends her hard in the barricade and rams her head first into it over and over and over again. So AJ chases Eva Marie out, and this was allowing her to get counted out again. So super kick by Paige, and Paige hits the Paige Turner, which looks a little bit better, but still not that good, and that's the end. So yeah, still building towards this AJ Paige match. Could go either way at this point. It's an okay build-up, but I really hope the match delivers because, you know, their last match, the match they had, Battleground, just did not deliver, and I really hope this one does. We get our next match is Jack Swagger against Bo Dallas, and basically Bo hits the repeated clotheslines in the corner and hits the Bo Let for the first time. First time we see his Bo Dallas spear, and he gets picked, Patriot Lock, over. So the experiment of Bo Dallas is pretty much over because apparently, from what we're hearing, creative is tired of him. Vince has soured on Bo Dallas, so that's the reason why he lost his streak. So that's a shame because hopefully Bo doesn't get shipped back to NXT or anything like that. Hopefully they do something with him. Of course, this brings Rusev and Lana out, and Lana basically says that after the match is over, the winner is going to get to wave their respective country's flag. Okay. Flag match, why? Because Jack Swagger can beat Rusev that way. Main event time, Roman Reigns and The Miz. We'll pick it up midway through. I'm not a fan of this match. It really wasn't. So Miz goes for the figure 4. He's got it locked on. Roman breaks the grip, and Miz tries to punch away, and of course, ends up finally breaking the hold. Goes for the figure 4 again. He gets kicked shoulder first into the ring post. He charges in, he eats a Samoan drop. He ducks the clothesline, leaping clothesline from Reigns, charging clothesline in the corner, of course, drops him right across the bottom rope. Gee, shock surprise. Hits the leaping dropkick to the side of the head, and he goes for the Superman punch. Miz sees this out of the corner of his eye, and he powders. So he leaves, he's walking up the ramp, Dolph Ziggler standing in his way. So Dolph distracts him long enough for Roman to get back up to his feet. He Superman punches The Miz on the floor, tosses him back in, hits a spear, 1, 2, 3, and that's the end. Okay, so that was that. That was SmackDown this week. Yeah, it was kind of a abbreviated edition of SmackDown. What would I recommend on the show? Cesaro and Ambrose. Oh god, that match was awesome, and definitely recommend that. Everything else, you can just completely skip. Unless you're a Roman Reigns fan, then watch his match against The Miz, but, you know, other than that, skip everything. Seriously. If you want to talk about actually good matches this week, you have Cesaro and Ambrose on this video, and then you have Tyler Breeze and Adrian Neville in this video. Other than that, just skip everything, because everything is just kind of blah this week. But of course, we're always building towards SummerSlam, and SummerSlam is tonight, Los Angeles, California, in just 4 hours from right now, because we're on the East Coast here, it's after 4 o'clock now. 4 hours from right now, the biggest party of the summer, the WrestleMania of August, is going to hit both pay-per-view and the WWE Network, which of course you can purchase for how much? Say it with me, $9.99. Which of course is not necessarily true because you can buy months at a time for $12.99, and then you can just pay outright for several months at a time. But anyway, let's talk SummerSlam predictions, and I'm remiss about some of this. So let's talk about your first match. It's going to be on the pre-show, which is actually going to be kicking off in about 3 hours and 15 minutes from this moment. It is going to be the Swiss Superman, the King of Swing, Cesaro, taking on Mr. Going Through the Motions, Rob Van Dam. And the match will be pretty good, and I think it's going to be short, but I think it's going to be effective. I think Cesaro wins and needs to win. Hits the neutralizer on Van Dam after he misses the 5-star, and we've seen this match before. He probably gets I would say, Van Dam ends up kicking him in the face, going for the 5-star. He hits on the 5-star, but nothing but the knees of Cesaro. Cesaro hits the Gotch-style neutralizer, gets the pin, 1, 2, 3. So Cesaro will beat Rob Van Dam handily in a really good back-and-forth match to kick off the show. Our actual opening match on the show is going to be the Intercontinental title on the line. The Miz defending against Dolph Ziggler. Any way you look at this, Dolph probably should be winning this, but I think if Dolph is going to win, I think it probably happens at Night of Champions. I don't think The Miz has held the championship long enough, because obviously he just got it. And of course he's got a movie to promote, so why not? The Miz wins, and I think The Miz wins via pinfall, not submission this time around. And then we have our next match. It is the match between Y2J, Chris Jericho, and Bray Wyatt. Jericho won at Battleground out of nowhere, literally out of nowhere, and no one expected this. Harper and Rowan banned from ringside, so of course they're not going to be any sort of effect on the match, supposedly, so we'll see what happens with that. Maybe lights go out potentially, and it could there could be interference that happens with the referee not being able to see anything. We've done that before, so it could happen again. Either way, Bray Wyatt, Sister Abigail, and Chris Jericho, 1, 2, 3 match over, and then at Night of Champions, Bray will injure Chris Jericho, not for real, of course, but Bray will take Jericho out and send him back to Fozzy and letting him tour, so I think that Bray wins tonight, and he's going to win at Night of Champions on my birthday as well. Third match is going to be your flag match. It is Rusev with Lana taking on Jack Swagger with Zeb Coulter in his corner. Swagger wins this match without a doubt, and then both of them move on to bigger and better things. Rusev, of course, could be moved on to pretty much anybody at this point. A lot of people are saying John Cena, maybe. If you go the direction I'm thinking go, maybe not quite yet. Maybe Roman Reigns. They had a match on SmackDown. It was alright, so maybe we can go in that direction. I think we can go into that direction, actually. Swagger, I don't know where he goes from here, honestly. So, Swagger wins, ends this feud, and that's the way to go, with Old Glory waving high in the air. Potentially, maybe seeing old-time names from the past, maybe Hacksaw Jim Duggan or Sergeant Slaughter. Or, like I predicted, the immortal Hulk Hogan being in Swagger's corner, putting the stamp of approval on Swagger. I think that's a very good possibility that actually happens, and I think that probably will be the case at the end. Maybe, I don't know if Rusev takes a couple punches or not, but either way, I think the end game here is Swagger on top, waving the American flag, and that's how you end this feud once and for all. So we get our next match. It is AJ Lee defending the Divas Championship against Paige. I do want to see Paige win this, but I don't think it's quite time yet, obviously. Paige got the last laugh on AJ, which means Wrestling Booking 101 says AJ wins, and AJ will win, and I think Paige gets the championship back at Night of Champions. So that's what I think will probably happen there. Ambrose and Rollins in a lumberjack match. Wrong stipulation, but I think they utilized the lumberjacks to their fullest of capabilities. Somehow, some way, Ambrose will beat the odds and beat Seth Rollins. And then next month, in order to get another match, another crack at Ambrose, Rollins will put the Money in the Bank briefcase on the line at Night of Champions. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. Unless something else happens before the night is over, but we'll talk about that. Maybe that's not what's up for grabs at Night of Champions, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Next match, it is Roman Reigns against Randy Orton. I think I'd like to see Randy Orton win this and let it continue, but I think he's going to handily beat Randy Orton like a drum, and he's going to win decisively. Roman Reigns beats Randy Orton in probably not the best match of the night. Speaking of probably the worst match wrestling-wise of the night is going to be Brie Bella and Stephanie McMahon. I will say right now that Stephanie will try in this match. Brie will definitely try in this match, and you can still look out for that thing that shouldn't happen, and that's the Nikki Bella heel turn, because of course she's been paid off by the Authority, and that's the direction we go with that. So we probably will see Brie against Nikki at Night of Champions, if I had to guess. Or maybe Stephanie makes Brie face Nikki and Megan Miller in a handicap match at Night of Champions. That could be possible. Who knows what direction we're going to go with this. But yeah, I think Stephanie wins. I don't want Stephanie to win, but I think Stephanie will win because this has to continue. If this is going to end outright, I think Brie wins. I think Brie needs to win. But I think that there's a good chance that these Nikki Bella heel turn I keep hearing about may actually happen. If it does, I think Stephanie wins. If not, there's a possibility that Brie could win. So I'd say it's up in the air for sure. Main event, Brock Lesnar, John Cena, and is for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Everyone's saying Brock Lesnar's going to win. There's all right saying Brock Lesnar will win. Part of me is saying that they're wrong. Part of me is saying that Brock Lesnar is not going to win. Part of me is saying that John Cena is going to win. John Cena is going to beat Brock Lesnar somehow, some way. Whether it's pinfall, whether it's disqualification, whether it is... I don't think it's going to be count. Pinfall or disqualification. Disqualification for Cena just getting beat up too much and the referee just calls the match. Cena retains the championship. If that happens, I think this is an easier way to happen. There's two different ways to get to this. But either way, I'm thinking that neither John Cena or Brock Lesnar leaves the Staples Center with the WWE Championship. Who leaves the title with the title? You know what's going to happen? Whether Cena pins Lesnar somehow, or Cena wins because of disqualification, because Lesnar just won't stop beating him up, by the time that the dust settles, you're going to get a cash-in from Seth Rollins, and he's going to win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Or you can see potentially Seth Rollins getting ready to cash in, and Ambrose attacks him in the entranceway, and that's what we lead to that. So that would lead him not to being able to cash in, and John Cena still the WWE Champion, but unable to do anything because Brock Lesnar has beaten the holy daylights out of him, and that's how it ends. But it's interesting to see what we do with this. If Cena's going to play ball and put Brock Lesnar over, we'll see. Cena's never been somebody to... regardless of what you've heard, Cena has never been somebody to not want to play ball. But then again, who knows about this time? I'm not sure about this. They could go either way at this point. Everybody thinks Lesnar's going to win. That makes me think that they might not do that, honestly. So I guess we'll see. We'll see in a couple of hours what's going to happen with that. But yeah, I'm sticking right now. I think John Cena is going to win, and he's not leaving the Staples Center with the championship. That's my bold prediction. But it could go either way. So wrestling fans, join me tomorrow. We're going to talk about said SummerSlam, and we're going to talk about the recap of the biggest show of the summer. I'm going to be talking about that tomorrow. Tuesday will be your regularly scheduled Raw recap, and Wednesday we'll return AJ's movie reviews. We're going to be talking The Giver, Boyhood, and 4 other films, as well as your normal Impact Wrestling recap, which is the last Impact Wrestling show that was taped from New York City. So I'm looking forward to that. That should be a fun one. Really looking forward to that. Thursday, there is a little birdie telling me there's a possibility that officially by the end of next week, probably by Thursday, we'll finally get to bring somebody home. So yes, we'll finally get our final Maze announcement for Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando. And once that is done, I'm obviously going to bring you an official reveal of everything, and I'm going to decrypt that statement video that I did a while back. And of course, coming later today, as a matter of fact, very soon, I will be doing your final Maze and Scare Zone announcement for Halloween Horror Nights in Hollywood, and then I'm going to do one final video talking about all of their events. So, Horror Nights content coming in abundance to pop, and of course, AJ's reviews coming in abundance to pop, as well as brand new Versus coming out this coming Sunday. We're going to go Acme. That's going to be your code word for this week. So yeah, look forward to that. And everything should be going back to normal, because Saturday we're going to be doing a 3-movie day, so that should be really fun. So as always, if you like these videos, tell your friends about them, leave a comment, do subscribe, help spread the word about Pop. If you haven't yet, go to Facebook, click like on that Facebook fan page. It is Sir Owen Disney Pop on Facebook. If you'd like to send me a friend request on Facebook, go right ahead, it's Owen Disney. Let me know that you're a fan, and let me know you like the channel here. Don't just send me a friend request and not say anything. Just say something, say, hey Owen, how you doing? And I'll say, I'll just ask me about 31 days. And also, you can tweet me at Sir Owen Disney. And last but certainly not least, you want to send your thoughts, comments, queries, and opinions. You want to talk WWE, TNA, you want to talk wrestling in general, talk about my former wrestling career, and you want to talk about Disney or Universal, Halloween Horror Nights, talk Diagon Alley. We can ask me questions. I can answer those, and we can do that. Or if you have content that you'd like to put on this channel and become a popcaster yourself, send all your contributions to SirOwenDisney@gmail.com. So in the meantime, enjoy SummerSlam tonight for those of you that are watching it on pay-per-view or the network. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all I got to say about that.